Hello everyone and welcome to the first video in this Delta Module 1 series where we'll be taking an overview of the whole Delta qualification and then introducing you to Module 1 specifically. Now, Delta is an acronym and it stands for Diploma in Teaching English to Speakers of Other Languages. You may be familiar with a similar acronym, that is the CELTA, which is essentially the precursor to Delta. Delta is the more advanced version and both are administered by Cambridge English. This is a level 7 qualification, which is equivalent to a master's degree. The Delta is recommended for more experienced teachers, that is to say 2 or more years, ideally teaching in a physical classroom. And these teachers would be looking to either extend their ELT knowledge or expertise, ELT being English language teaching, or updating their teaching practice, often referred to as TP. The full qualification comprises 3 modules. Module 1 being Understanding Language, Methodology and Resources for Teaching, and it is assessed via a written exam. And this video series will be focusing on Module 1. Module 2 is Developing Professional Practice. Assessment for this is a portfolio of coursework and assessed teaching practice. So this is the more practical element, and Module 1 is more knowledge-based and theoretical. Module 3, there are 2 options. One is ELT Specialism or ELT Management, and an extended written assignment comprises the assessment for that. Looking at Module 1 specifically, the written exam is made up of 2 90-minute papers. These are taken consecutively at an approved Delta testing center, and you get a 30-minute break in between. Now, Delta testing centers can be found all over the world, and depending on which country you're in will depend on how near or far it is from your current location. The exams are held twice a year and always held on the first Wednesday in June and the first Wednesday in December from 9 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. local time. So internationally they won't take place all at the same time, and it could be up to a 12-hour time difference depending on which time zone you're in. Looking a bit closer at paper 1, there are 5 tasks. And we'll be referring to these as 1.1, 1.2, the first number being the paper and the second number being the task number. So paper 1, task 1 or 1.1 is providing terms for definitions for 6 marks. 1.2 is providing definitions and examples for terms, and that is for 12 marks. 1.3, identifying language features for a student to complete a task, again 12 marks. 1.4, identifying strengths and weaknesses of a learner's written or spoken text, 20 marks. And then the big one, 1.5, is analyzing language features in an authentic text. Add those all up and you get 100 marks for the total for paper 1. Paper 2 is only 3 tasks. 2.1 is evaluating a test for a specific group of learners, 18 marks. 2.2, analyzing published coursebook activities in the context of a single lesson, 42 marks. And when we say analyzing activities, we're talking with respect to the purpose and rationale behind said activity. So this is similar to how you would normally plan lessons. Therefore, it's maybe a bit more intuitive for teachers, especially those with more experience. 2.3 is analyzing ELT related input for 40 marks. This could be an extract from a teacher's blog, a paragraph from a methodology book, or the like. This input provides you with a point of view regarding a certain approach, methodology, or teaching practice, which you need to expand upon and make contrasts with. This one requires the most amount of writing, so could potentially give you a bit of handache. Everything is handwritten in this exam. Again, total that up, you get 100 marks. And you'll notice that 1.5, 2.2 and 2.3 by far carry the most marks, so are generally considered the big 3. And paper 1 and 2 combined gives you an overall total of 200 marks. So how about the pass rates? How are these graded? Picking the maximum total of both papers at 200. If you score any less than 100 overall, then that is considered a fail. To get a pass grade, it needs to be between 100 and 129. Pass with merit, 130 to 149, and pass with distinction, 150 to 200. These last 2 are often just shortened to merit or distinction. Worth noting that you do need to score at least 50 out of 100 in each paper to achieve a pass or above. So for example, if you scored 60 in paper 1 and 45 in paper 2, that would give you an overall of 105, which would give you a pass. However, given the second one was only 45, it would be in fact a fail. Now, these are the pass rates of 2022, which were published by Cambridge internationally. So across the world, 37.4% failed in 2022, 43.1% passed, 12.4% passed with merit, and 7.1% got a distinction. Totaling up the overall pass or above, we get 62.6%. So as you can see, this is not an easy exam, and it is indeed very easy to fail. Now let's look at some useful study strategies to bear in mind as you embark upon this course. So you can take this as an online course, which is delivered by a number of different companies. It takes about 3 months and is priced around $1,000. This includes the exam fee and registration. So they do that stuff for you, and then you turn up to the exam. The second option is as a self-study participant. This is where you organize your own study schedule and register for the exam via an improved testing center. So the exam fee itself varies depending on the country, but roughly between $250 to $350. And it is recommended that you spend at least 12 weeks of study prior to the exam. So that's about 3 months studying at roughly 10 or more hours a week. So this is dependent on your current ELT knowledge and experience. Also, obviously, your working schedule. In the past, Cambridge has published a number of materials which are very useful for self-study applicants, and you are able to find these online. They consist of the Delta Handbook, the most recent of which is the 2022, and this contains general information about the qualification and each of the modules, much of which we've covered in this video. They also published past papers up until the December 2019 exam, so these are very useful for a self-study, and exam reports for those exams, but only up until June 2016. After that, they discontinued. The exam reports are very useful because they give you answer keys and feedback from the examiners. The exam format as it exists today appears from the June 2015 papers onwards. So if you're looking at papers older than that, then the format is going to be slightly different. Some very useful books here, and it's a good idea to have a quick read through these before you do more specific study on the materials mentioned above. So we have About Language by Thornbury. This is a self-study book for teachers, and it has tasks and then commentary for you to check your tasks, and it covers the 3 language systems of Lexis, Grammar and Phonology to a good degree of depth, and it's a good idea to focus on your weak areas here. Also by Thornbury, Beyond the Sentence. This is similar to the book above, but it focuses on the 4th language system, which is discourse. Discourse is that language system that isn't really overtly taught, and a lot of people don't really know what it is. So this is also a very useful book to work through. How Languages Are Learned by Light Brown and Spader. This takes a deep dive into theory behind second language acquisition, including lots of the different approaches and methodologies used. Also good to have on hand is a couple of reference books where you can quickly look up any terms or concepts or grammatical constructions or whatever that you're not 100% on and need a quick review. An A to Z of ELT, again by Thornbury, is a very good choice here. He also has an online blog of this which gives a more up-to-date version. An A to Z of English Grammar and Usage. This is by Leach et al. And very good for plugging any holes in your grammatical knowledge. Some other resources available at your disposal are Delta terminology lists. These are available online. You can just search in Google, find various versions of these. They're useful for all the tasks, but particularly for task 1.1 and 1.2. It's definitely worth creating your own, however, because you can then personalize the definitions and examples, and therefore it's going to be a better aid to memory. This could take the form of written lists, post-it notes, physical flashcards, or using flashcard apps. Making use of technology and smartphones is very handy for this because you can just use them on the go. Anki is a good one for spaced repetition. So this means that the better you know a term, the less frequently it will test you on it. So this really helps aid in long-term retention. If you have any friends or colleagues who have taken Delta Module 1 before, I'm sure they'll have a lot of materials and they can share those with you. Also, websites and YouTube channels are out there, this being one of the latter. So a bit more about the Delta Module 1 course on this channel. I've been teaching an in-house Delta Module 1 course for the company I work for several years now, and this video series was developed from that. A quick disclaimer here, I'm not a linguist, grammarian, or Cambridge certified Delta instructor, but I have taught this course for many years. It covers all the tasks in depth while including a good amount of background ELT knowledge for each. It provides model answers and commentary for authentic past paper exam questions for each of the tasks, and this is designed for self-study applicants, though it should be used in conjunction with the above strategies. Now, with all the orientation out of the way, are you ready to get going? If so, the first thing to do is choose a realistic exam date and stick to it. So remember, this is the first Wednesday of June or December each year, and you probably want to give yourself at least a 3-month cushion. Sticking to it is very important for motivation, as you've got a time limit, and so you're less likely to procrastinate, which can often happen for individuals undertaking self-study. Worth booking a week off work directly before the exam. This gives you that extra time for the final push. Make sure you find and acquire the resources needed and plan a weekly study schedule. So we said before, setting aside a minimum of 10 hours per week is recommended. You'll also want to analyze and reflect on your own strengths and gaps in knowledge. That's very important. And of course, watch all the Delta Module 1 course videos on this channel. They are split into different playlists for ease of navigation. So for example, if you are studying Paper 1 Task 5, there will be a playlist just for that. This allows you to review the tasks more easily, particularly the ones you feel less confident in. If you have any questions, then please leave them in the comments section of each video and I will endeavor to respond to each. With all that said, good luck in your studies and I wish you all Delta success. I'll see you in the next video.